And welcome everyone to this new management case study interview video. I'm Shivam Banka and today we'll be going through another case study interview today. The purpose of this video is to give you an understanding of how management case study interview goes and what is expected of you. This video is divided into two parts. In the first part, we'll be going through the interview and understand how the candidate is navigating it. In the second part, we will be looking at the interview and analyze it as whole. Today we are doing a case study interview, which is a market entry case study interview, and it's about a fintech company in UAE market. For context, all the uh, black text with blue background you see is the statement of the interviewer, and all the blue text with white background you see is the statement of the candidate. Let's begin. Your client is a Dubai-based e-commerce firm backed by Indian payment giants Paytm. So Paytm is like an alternative of PayPal, where you do an online transactions, and it's a whole fintech bank. The firm wants to enter into the fintech market in UAE and want your recommendations on it. Okay, so the first statement told by an interviewer is very important, and you make sure you don't miss out on any detail because the interviewer might drop hints of where exactly you have to look on in this first statement. Not all the time, but it happens most of the time. So make sure you pay attention to the first statement because it tells you the scope of your interview. So so your client is a Dubai-based e-commerce firm. They are backed by Indian payments giant Paytm, and they want to enter fintech market in UAE. So they are an e-commerce firm and they want to enter a fintech market and they want your recommendations. What is the firm's objective behind this? Yeah, so a market entry case study interview, right? So structure of a market entry case study interview is in the first part of the interview you try to understand the client's goals and objective. It's very important that after listening to the first statement, it doesn't go into analyzing the market size, market and how much big of an opportunity it is, but you understand what exactly is the client looking for, so your analysis can be in that direction. So in the first part, you more understand client's business, his goals and objectives. In the second part, you do the analysis, and in the third part, you provide your recommendations or what you found in your analysis. So we are in the first part where we'll try to understand more of the client's goals and objectives. What is the firm's objective behind this? Do we have any decision metric in mind that we can use to evaluate such as revenue or profit target? So, like any other business, it wants to maximize its revenue. While the firm does not have a specific revenue target, it wants to maximize its ROI in the 5 years. So, these are the firm's goals, that they want to maximize their revenue and they want to maximize return on investment in the next 5 years. Understood. Can you tell me a bit more about our client? What we say e-commerce, is it similar to Amazon or Flipkart? Okay, so now we're understanding client's business a bit. Yes, the client is exactly similar to Amazon with majority of its operations in Gulf region. Also, uh, how long we have been in the market and what is our position in the market currently. Okay. Um the client is the first e-commerce firm in the Middle East. Okay. And currently controls more than 50% of the market, which is valued at around 10 billion. There are three to four other competitors, but they have less than 10% each market share. Uh, that means we are the market leader in the and have a dominating position. Now coming to the business vertical, I am not much familiar with fintech space. But what I understand is that it is a very broad market with solutions such as insurance, wallet, etc. Is there any specific product that our clients want to launch with? So pretty straightforward. So we have understood mainly what our client's position is and what his business is and what his objectives are. Now we are trying to understand what exactly is his goal in the fintech industry with the launch. That's a good question. We have four key verticals in mind: a wallet like Paytm, a micro lending card for loans for small denominations, stockbroker, and marketplace for insurance and credit cards. If we have to decide only one out of the four, what do you think would be the most relevant choice for the client? Since we are the market leader in e-commerce, uh, I will evaluate the above options on the basis of market size, competitive landscape, synergies with existing companies. But before moving ahead with it, I would want to know get more context in the fintech space in UAE. Okay, so yeah, pretty straightforward. Because we have been asked what is the recommendation for a client to choose out of these four, we have to look at synergies with his existing companies as one of the options too, because it makes it relevant to launch something which adds value to its current businesses. And yeah, competitive landscape or market sizes, two of the options where you can look at. Uh, okay, so now the candidate wants to understand more of the fintech space in UAE so that they can understand what is the competition and market size looks like uh, for the company. UAE economically, UAE economy exactly like India is also driven by cash transactions, accounting for more than 40% of the transaction value. The fintech space is completely non-existent. Okay. Uh, in the country, we will be the first mover. Really interesting. I would look at payment wallet solution first. Given the market similarity to India, the product will help establish a market amongst the masses first, and subsequently we introduce more specialized product. It will also help to facilitate payments on our e-commerce platform and thus accelerate customer acquisition. So very well, since there is no competition landscape, then you focus on synergy with your existing company. Uh, that e-commerce product will be it will be easier to acquire customers if you launch a payments wallet through your e-commerce customer and then accelerate or launch different specialized product as well. Excellent. What's next? So I would want to evaluate the business from two perspectives: economic analysis to know how the economic analysis to know how big the market and what proportion I can capture. So, as you have noticed in the first part, uh, we covered competition landscape, that there's no much competition. We covered synergies with existing companies, that payment wallet would be a good addition to our e-commerce platform, and that is how we acquire customers. But we have not done the market sizing or how big is the market. So now we are moving to the market sizing uh, to see how much big the company can get. Okay, value business from two perspectives: in economic analysis to know how big is the market and what proportion I can capture, and operational feasibility where we can look at how to establish the business, what can be the key risks of venturing into the new spaces. Okay, so we are looking at economic analysis to size the market and also operational feasibility of what are the challenges and opportunities for the clients. I would want to start with economic analysis first. My expected profits will be equal to market size into market share into average contribution margin minus the fixed cost or in the initial minus the fixed cost initial investments. Uh, do we have any information of the market size, or are we looking at uh, that we are looking at, or do I need to estimate the same? Good. So assume that the fixed costs are essentially zero because of an already established technical business. Um, Also, since the market is non-existent, we will need to estimate the market size in dollar value. Let us assume the profit for the let us estimate the profit for the first year. I'll start by estimating market size in terms of dollar value. Market size is equals to number of addressable customers into number of transactions per customer into value per transaction per customer. Pretty straightforward. Uh, for the number of customers, I will look at the population of UAE and adjust it for age. Internet penetration, smartphone penetration, bank account and credit card penetration. Fair enough. Do you think your formula will give you the correct market size? This will only give you the value of transaction that happens on the platform and not the revenue. Apologies, I think there is an aspect of commission that the platform will make on every transaction which needs to be incorporated. Correct. Moving on, do you need to get an reliable estimate for the other two parameters? Okay. So we have an estimate for the number of addressable customers. Now we need an estimate for number of transaction per value and number of transaction per customer. Maybe we can look at the average transaction size and the number of orders per customer on our e-commerce platform. Fair enough. We can use that data. Don't you think that will give us an overestimate because it's a new product that will it's not going to capture everything, but yeah, we can take a percentage of it, which is a realistic number. But let's see. Remember that the product will essentially replace your daily transaction at local mom and pop store rather than e-commerce. Similarly, what we see in India, Paytm. Uh, uh, then we can use comparable by evaluating average transaction size and number of orders per customer for Paytm. Uh, okay, when they launched in India and adjust them for the purchasing power parity and higher per capita income of the buy. Pretty good logic that you can use Paytm's data to find the market share for this product in UAE. Okay, so you are seeing the average transaction size and number of orders per customer of Paytms when they launch, and then you're adjusting it with the purchasing power parity and higher per capita income of Dubai. So let's say that gives us a very attractive market size. Okay. Uh, Next, I would want to look at the market share that we capture. Given the nascent industry in UAE, we can benchmark market share achieved by similar products in similar markets such as India or other Gulf nation. For instance, market share was captured by Paytm was in the first year. Paytm in first 5 years. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let us assume that the market makes sense economically for the firm to enter. What what next would you suggest? Since economic feasibility has already been established, okay. Since economic feasibility has already been established, I would now want to look at the operational feasibility of the business, which was the second point in the analysis. I would want to look at the entire value chain comprising of, mm, okay, value chain comprising of technology platform followed by merchants, followed by consumers. However, since we are operating in financial space, before moving ahead, I would like to know if there are any regulatory barriers that I must be aware of. Good point. So the law of the land mandates that at least 51% of the ownership has to reside with the UAE based bank. That means that might throw challenges. I think we have three strategic options here. Set up our own bank, but that will be time consuming process and we might lose the first mover advantage. Uh, we enter into a joint venture with one of the major banks, or we also acquire a UAE based bank, but the current financial position may not allow us to do so. So, uh, pretty straightforward textbook methods of entering a market. Either you acquire acquire a existing bank, or you go into joint venture, or you set up your own business. But yeah, so the best option from the candidate's suggestion would be the second one, because first would be would be time consuming, and a third would we are not in a position to acquire the total an e-commerce company is not in a position to acquire a bank. I believe so. The joint venture seems to be most feasible option here. However, the key risks that needs to be highlighted here is we should have some sort of protection that stops such incumbents from entering into the fintech space. Okay. Yes, joint venture seems to be most appropriate here. Our technical expertise is in the market will also be unique value proposition for banks to partner with us. Understood. Next, I would want to look at creation of platform. Given that we are the biggest e-commerce firm in UAE and are owned by global fintech giants, um, creating the right platform does not seem to be a major challenge. Correct. After this, I would look at how we will onboard merchants on our platform. I will divide merchants into two parts: new acquisition, existing e-commerce platform merchants. I will target the merchants associated with the e-commerce platform first, um, since first, which can act as an early adopter for such a platform. Okay, and we spread the word of mouth on it, around it. On the other hand, to onboard local mom and pop shops, we run incentive schemes like zero commissions for the first few days via our sales force. Okay. Also, since it's a two-sided platform, we will also have to ensure simultaneous additions of customers on platforms to appease both the parties. I will again target my existing e-commerce customers via cashback, discount offerings, loyalty programs, etc. However, in all our acquisition efforts, we will have to pay considerable attention to possibility of frauds, which happened a lot with Paytm. That's a good insight. I think all covered. We have covered all the aspects of the value chain. We can stop here. Pretty good, detailed interview. One thing I liked about the candidate, if you see also, that he was initially he was going in a very structured manner. He was categorizing everything in the starting, like he categorized that he is going to look into market size, competitives, and synergies. He categorized here that he's going to look into economic and analysis and feasibility analysis, and he one by one went in all those points and covered all those points in detail in further in the interview. So that is a very well structured interview where you are able to track how the candidate is navigating the interview, and then in the end he was able to cover all the aspects of it and give a very overall picture of how it will look like for the firm to launch a fintech company in UAE. So let's go to the second part of the interview where we will analyze the interview. So it's very important to have a clear and straightforward notes, because at the end of the interview will ask for your notes and you should be able to understand everything from it. And it also shows that you're thinking in a very structured manner if you have very clear flow charts and diagrams. So and you should be knowing how to pick up important points when the interviewer is telling you about the client or giving an information. Should be able to write it in very small points so that you don't miss out on any information. So let's see interview notes. It is important to understand that the business model that the company is going to launch and the current status of the business. Okay. Analyze possible synergies that will shape the company's strategy. Use similar market comparable and ratios to calculate market share and market size. Establish a value chain for a general new age tech startup. Identify barriers to entry that company may face while entries specifically for financial firm. Case facts. Client is a market leader in e-commerce. Client wants to enter into a fintech space with payment wallets product. Market is non-existent in UAE. Client wants to find out the market potential revenue for first year. The product works on commission model. Okay, let's see what is the structure. So in terms of fintech, you have economic analysis and operational feasibility. In economic analysis, you have market size and market share. Uh, Market size you calculated a bit based on. I think there were two aspects. Initially, he overestimated by looking into uh, transactions, and then he calculated the market size. Um, 1 second, this is important. Yeah, my bad. So market size he divided into three parts. In the first part, he calculated it and didn't consider um, the commission part to calculate the revenue. And then for the next parts, rather than calculating the transactions, it is better to look at the Paytm's transaction when they launched in India. That is how you calculate the number of transactions per customers and the transaction value per customer. And you adjust it to Dubai. Okay. Yeah, so market size is calculated that way, and market share, you take the data from Paytm's numbers and compare it to Dubai market. So market size is equals to total addressable market, number of transaction per customer, average transaction value, and that is where you get what you get from your comparable ratio from Paytm. Total addressable population is population, age filter, internet penetration, smartphone penetration, and bank account transactions, as we just saw going back. That is economic feasibility in terms of operational feasibility. Um, let's see. We have um, value chain setup and regulatory barriers. So, in regulatory barriers, you have local ownership requirement, which 51% should the bank should own 15%. So we have joint venture acquisition and own bank joint ventures. Okay, joint venture was the most preferable option. In technological platform, no issue at all because we already are in e-commerce, so we backed by Paytm, so tech part is pretty much covered. Customer acquisition and merchants acquisitions was focused on because you need to do both simultaneously to keep both of them happy. Customer acquisition, acquiring existing customer and merchants first, customers through cashbacks and offers on e-commerce platform, and merchants through no commissions for the first year, and acquiring customers and acquiring okay, yeah, then uh, similarly then you acquire new customers, acquire existing customers, and you acquire new customers and merchants. So very well, case study interview, we got an idea of what the fintech industry looked like. The recommendation given by the candidate was the client should enter the fintech market. Key learnings of the interview are: in such an open-ended case, be exhaustive as possible for the market size estimation and value chain setup. Always clarify business model of the company and the new sector. Okay. So that was the interview, guys. I hope you guys learned a lot. I'll be covering different case study genres and different industries in those genres. So, and this was market entry genre in a fintech industry in UAE. So you get an idea of how to navigate different case study genres and how the logic applies for different industries. Most of the time, you realize for a particular genre, the interview is fragmented into similar parts, and once you understand that, you will be able to apply that to any industry. So that do watch all of my videos because you get an idea of you'll get an idea of how a different genre is being navigated in different industry, and once you understand that, you'll start thinking from first principle basis, and you'll be able to crack any interview given the industry you're familiar with or not. So thank you for watching, and hope you have a nice day.